April here from Mount North. I'm one of the pros, and I'm here to talk to you today about anxiety and give you a little quick tip on how to work with it. So, there's lots of different ways that you can work with anxiety. There's a lot of tricks and techniques out there, and this is just one. So, if this doesn't work for you, please don't get discouraged that you're a hopeless case that can never feel better. It just means that this particular method isn't the one that fits. So, just wanted to let you know that right off the bat. Um, what happens when people get anxious, when anxiety swoops in, most people, what they want to do with that right away is get rid of it. So inside their mind, they're thinking, stop, go away. I don't want to deal with you. I don't have time for this. Leave me alone, anxiety. And what you may have noticed if you've ever tried to do that is that at times what can happen is the anxiety actually gets louder, bigger, more intense, and clings to you harder. And there's a reason for that. Anxiety and your stress response, the part of your brain that is sending you out like a ding 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 warning bells is necessary, normal, and healthy. But what can happen is, the anxiety itself is there for a good reason to warn you about danger or threats or, things you need to be watching out for. But its methods can get so skewed that it causes you a big problem, and the alarm bells that go off in your mind are way out of proportion for whatever event might be triggering them. And that's the part that we want to try to change. So instead of kicking the anxiety out, we're going to try a little imagery activity that can help you sort of rewire your responses and your brain and your subconscious thinking so that you don't get the alarm bells going off in such an intense way to cause you such a problem. So instead of kicking the anxiety out, what it might look like is like the anxiety swoops in. It's like this creepy little monster sitting on your shoulder, chattering in your ear that you need to be afraid and prepared, and bad things are going to happen, and bad things are going to happen, and bad things are going to happen. And logically, you might be thinking, okay, wait a minute. Like, I know I'm stressed, but like, ah, this is like too much. What you want to do is imagine yourself saying to the anxiety, first of all, anxiety, thank you for warning me. You're here for a positive reason. I get it. You're trying to let me know there's something that I need to pay attention to, and I hear you. I hear you. I'm listening. Whatever it is you're trying to tell me, I'm going to hear it. I'm going to hear it out, pay attention for a minute. Sometimes just doing that can bring the anxiety down a couple of notches just so that you can ride it out a little bit smoother. But there's also a next step that you can do to work with your anxiety to try to get it even lower. And that is um, having a conversation with yourself about whatever is triggering you and what you can do about it. So let's say the trigger is you walk into the grocery store and there's a lot of people in there, and that immediately sends your anxiety shooting up. Instead of saying, instead of first of all bolting from the grocery store or refusing to go in there, um, instead of doing that, if you stop for a minute and say, okay, anxiety, thanks for warning me that there's a lot of people around and I could be in danger. Your anxiety immediately goes down a notch or two. And then you say, okay, listen, if somebody comes at me, if something bad happens, I will leave the store. I will, I'll stay close to the exits. I'll make sure I'm paying attention. I will, I will do this A, B, C, and D if a threat actually occurs. So there's my plan. So you can know, anxiety, that I have a plan for this already. And then you can say, let me analyze the facts here. The facts are saying, like, the likelihood of something bad happening right now is pretty low. I don't see anybody that looks like they're suspicious. Nobody's coming at me. All the facts that would say, okay, I'm relatively safe in this situation. Now, if you're analyzing that and you're finding that you're actually not safe, that's a whole nother animal, right? Then you really need to be paying attention to the anxiety and protecting yourself. And sometimes it can be hard to figure out the difference, to figure out when the anxiety is actually in proportion to what's going on and when the anxiety is out of proportion and throwing you warning bells at a level that you don't need and is just causing you problems. So, trying to have this little conversation and just paying attention and acknowledging the anxiety and the message that it's trying to send you and spending a little time on that can help you gain a little bit of control over the anxiety. Um, just a little side piece about this that kind of piggybacks off of this. Right now, we are in a very stressful time, which I don't need to tell you guys this. You know, you're all feeling it, right? So I'm hearing a lot of people coming at me saying, like, I'm so anxious right now. I'm so anxious. I'm a teacher and I'm really having a hard time with doing this online or hybrid thing, and I feel like I'm not teaching the kids anything, and I have a lot of kids coming at me saying I'm not learning anything and this is really hard for me and I'm so stressed out. And what I want to say to you about this is consider the fact that your level of stress about this is in proportion to what's going on. This isn't easy. I mean, for teachers, you went through years of training to learn how to teach in the traditional way, and that's just been blown out of the water, and you've been scrambling to try to learn a whole new method in like a couple of weeks' time, a couple of months' time, like a very, very short period of time. It took you 4 years of college at least to learn how to do your profession the traditional way, and you're trying to scramble to throw this together on a really short term. So your level of stress about this is in proportion to what's going on. You're not going to be perfect at it. Kids aren't going to learn right now. You're not going to teach at your highest level right now. And guess what, guys? That's okay. Like, that's okay. This is a temporary blip in our, the big long picture. At least this method of teaching, one way or another, it's going to change. It's either going to go back to something you're more familiar with, or you're going to get better at it and it not be so stressful because you're learning a new skill that you will get better at. And same with learning. Like, if kids learn anything right now, great, because the level of stress that kids are under right now was trying to adapt to all of these changes. We will bounce back, and kids are learning other things that might not be academic right now. So if you're not perfect at this online thing, that's okay. Cut yourself a break. You're in survival mode. And right now it's just about trying to get to the other side of that. So I hope this helped. If you have more questions about it or want more information, because this is just the tip of the iceberg, come on over to mountainnorthbasecamp.com. Join our online community where we talk about all things wellness and mental health and coping and living our best lives. So hope to see you over there. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.